Otiz the Iceman was found by German hikers on September 19, 1991. His body was encased in a glacier that was melting away, revealing a portion of his bones when the hikers found him. He was located along the Italian-Austria border. Otiz is one of the oldest and best preserved human mummies ever found. He was around 45 years old at the time of his death and was 5'4", 110 pounds. While the official cause of death was an arrow to the shoulder, causing a major artery to be ruptured, he was also found to have blunt force trauma to the head and no defense wounds or injuries. These all indicated a surprise attack or murder. When the body of Otiz was found, they used many different techniques to discover whose body it was, how old they were, and what events led to their death. Macroscopic skeletal analysis, microscopy, and radiographic imaging were some of the techniques that I am going to talk about today. The first technique is macroscopic skeletal analysis, which is a visual analysis of the bones found. It is a non-destructive analysis to the bones and allows for the investigators to find out the person's sex, age, height, and in some cases, reason for death. This is investigators used when Otiz was first found. He was examined and looked at by the experts who were able to tell that Otiz's bones were hundreds of years old and that he was in fact male and around 5'4" in height at the time of his death. The next technique used was microscopy, which is when the bones go under the microscope and scientists are able to learn more about the bone DNA. They can easily find traces of evidence and start to figure out more about how the person died. This helped the case of Otiz the Iceman a lot because he was able to be examined, and in this examination, it revealed no traces of anyone else's DNA other than his own, which led the investigators to believe that Otiz died of natural causes or from something of his own doing. The final technique that proved to be the most important to finding out the truth about Otiz was radiographic imaging. Radiographic imaging is when the forensic investigators use medical imaging techniques to scan bones and reveal their makeup. The investigators used things like X-rays, CT scans, and MRIs on Otiz's bones, and what they saw was an arrowhead lodged in the back of his left shoulder. More specifically, it was found between his shoulder blade and rib cage. The radiographic imaging proved that Otiz did not die of natural causes, but from someone allegedly throwing an arrow at him that tore through his subclavian artery, which would have been located exactly where the arrowhead was found. Otiz the Iceman's remains can be visited in the South Tyrol Museum of Archaeology, along with some of his clothes he was found in, artifacts he was with, and a lifelike reconstruction of what the experts believe he once looked like. I did all kinds of research before making this presentation, and where I got my findings are a National Geographic article titled "Iceman Bled Out from Arrow Wound, X-ray Scan Reveals," the Skull and Trauma PDF located in Cause and Manner of Death module in our class, an article from the South Tyrol Museum of Archaeology titled "Arrow Shot Remains Death," and the article "Otiz, A New Understanding of the Holy Grail of Glacier Archaeology" from a website, Secrets of the Ice.